Michael Reiser, and welcome to Part 7 of Living with COPD. Depression, in my opinion, is often overlooked or just barely touched upon by many pulmonary rehabilitation programs. And I think it needs to be addressed as a major health issue in treating COPD. Oftentimes, when we are first diagnosed with a chronic disease, such as COPD, it's not uncommon for us to ask ourselves the question, why me? There are times we know the answer and blame ourselves or someone else for negligence. Sometimes there are no clear answers. It's God's will. It's fate. And sometimes it just boils down to the law of averages. The next question that you probably asked yourself was, what am I ever going to do? You may be realizing that you can no longer do the things that you so enjoy doing. Gardening, golfing, fishing, going to work, house cleaning, cooking, family outings, playing with grandchildren, and even bathing may be getting to be just too difficult for you. That's not just because of the COPD, but you may think you have hit a wall that seems just too high to climb over. You may be suffering from depression. Now, roughly speaking, 60 million people in the United States live with one of 4 chronic conditions. That's heart disease, diabetes, COPD, and major depression. Anxiety and depression are quite common in COPD and have significant impact on patients, their families, society, and the course of the disease. Men tend to hide their depression and anxiety and often let it go untreated. As men, we're often reluctant to talk about our depression symptoms to our own family and friends. Therefore, it's even more difficult to talk to someone who doesn't know us. One possible reason for this is that as men, we're reluctant to talk about mental health issues because we were taught to place an emphasis on independence, on competitiveness, emotional repression, and self-control. So many men seem to think it's unmanly to express feelings and emotions associated with depression. And you know, that's really sad because it's unfortunate because it's essential for your doctor to know these things so that he can properly treat your depression. Because not all forms of depression are treated the same way. Women, on the other hand, are generally more open to talk about their emotional issues and are therefore diagnosed and properly treated more often. Now, according to the American Lung Association, patients with COPD also need psychological or other emotional support. The COPD patients' inability to be as active as they once were and their increasing dependency on others and even on machines may lead to profound depression and dependency, often further complicating their physical illness. One study of the people with chronic breathing disorders found that 80% of the 1,334 people studied suffered from depression, anxiety, or both. Although depression and anxiety are very treatable for people with COPD, only 31% of COPD patients are actually being treated for these conditions. These numbers need to get better, people, so you can get better. Estimates of prevalence of anxiety and depression in COPD do vary widely, but are generally higher than those reported in some of the other advanced chronic diseases. Untreated and undetected anxiety and depressive symptoms may increase physical disability, morbidity, and health care utilization. In other words, if left untreated, for every forward step you take to improve your quality of life by managing your COPD, depression and anxiety can take you 2 steps backwards. This could leave you to think you have done absolutely no good for yourself up to this point. And we know that's wrong. Since we know that depression and anxiety are linked to worsening symptoms in COPD, let's identify some of the symptoms of depression and anxiety. We have constant sadness, irritability, hopelessness, trouble sleeping, low energy or fatigue, feeling worthless or guilty for no reason, significant weight change, difficulty concentrating, loss of interest in favorite activities, and last but not least, thoughts of suicide. Now, if you have any of these symptoms, talk to your doctor to see if you may be suffering from depression, and if so, what treatment will work best for you. But please do not attempt to treat yourself for your depression. By doing so, you may put yourself and others at risk. Now, often eating a balanced diet by using the food guide pyramid as a reference, combined with a good exercise program and a COPD support group, may be all you need to start feeling better about your life. However, for some of you, your doctor may want to put you on medication to help. Others may require counseling. You really need to do whatever it takes to deal with your depression before it gets the best of you. This is all part of taking control of your life so that you can manage your COPD and do the things that you like to do. Well, that's all for now. Join me next time. And until then, breathe well.